In this video, we're going to talk about the latest immigration news from this week. The states, guys, you have Georgia, you have Florida, Texas. All these things are happening on the state level. We're also going to talk about the fact that 200,000 cases have been dismissed in immigration court. Why? Because the government failed to do its job. Also, before you go today, subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, and be the first to get notice of these videos each week. Now, I'm going to take you into our weekly immigration news summary, which goes out on Fridays. So if you have not subscribed to the #1 immigration newsletter, you're missing out. Get on our newsletter list so that you can get our Friday news, Q&As, good news stories, and some other great things that we share with our subscribers each week. So the first big issue, guys, Texas. Earlier this week, I did a breaking news video alert about the fact that the Supreme Court has allowed Texas to enforce SB 4, guys, which would allow Texas police to arrest anyone who they, based on suspicion, would be deemed a migrant or someone who is in the country illegally or trying to cross from the U.S.-Mexico border over into Texas. And so anyway, the Supreme Court allowed, just for like a minute, truly, the law to be in effect. And then a federal court of appeals late Tuesday night stopped the state law from going into effect. And so this literally was hours after the U.S. Supreme Court had allowed it to go into effect. So right now, this is still tied up in the courts. And so nothing is happening with respect to this Texas SB 4 law right now. On the ground, on the ground, the police are not allowed to go out and just arrest people based on suspicion that they're an illegal alien or a migrant. And also judges, local judges, are not allowed to issue orders of deportation. Florida, guys, Governor DeSantis in Florida has also signed into law. Now, things are different in Florida, guys, than Texas. In Florida, things are moving ahead, right, with some tough immigration laws. And actually, I did a video about Florida, so I'm not going to get into all of that right now in this one. I'm going to put a link here so that you guys can go watch that video about the Florida immigration laws that DeSantis has signed into law. But so they're moving forward with some of those tough enforcement measures there. Georgia, the Georgia Senate passed a bill to punish local governments that are considered to have loose immigration policies. The Georgia Recorder says that the Georgia Senate passed a bill on Thursday that could result in law enforcement agencies and local governments losing federal and state dollars and force elected officials to be removed from office if they fail to comply with undocumented immigrant reporting laws. And let's just go into this article for a second here and read a little bit about how this would actually work. And guys, as you know, this is coming off the heels of that horrific murder of the nurse, the 22-year-old nurse who was murdered brutally by a Venezuelan immigrant. 33-19 vote for House Bill 301 was split along party lines, with Republicans and Democratic lawmakers at odds over the need to ramp up the penalties. The legislation gives any state resident the right to sue local governments for not enforcing the state's ban on so-called sanctuary laws that's been in place since 2009. Let's talk about the fact that, friends, 200,000 immigration court cases were dismissed because DHS failed to file paperwork. Approximately 200,000 deportation cases have been thrown out by immigration judges since the start of the Biden administration because the DHS hadn't filed the required notice to appear with the court by the time the hearing comes around. Without a proper filing, the court lacks jurisdiction to hear the case, and the immigrants, often asylum seekers, lack a way to move their case forward. And these large numbers of dismissals and what then happens raises serious concerns. And what's great about this report is the fact that it tells us where are these dismissals happening? Which which court and at what level? Like how many? It also says, first of all, that this report provides an incomplete picture. It says troubling is the almost total lack of transparency on where and why these DHS failures occurred. Equally troubling is the lack of solid information on what happened to these many immigrants when DHS never rectified its failure by reissuing and filing new NTAs to restart their court cases. So where is this happening, friends? Here's a really great table that takes us into each city. Miami, Florida, right? 18,435 cases have been dismissed in that court. Then you have Los Angeles, 4,000. Then you have Baltimore, 1,900. That's pretty small. Then there's Houston, Texas, 3,000. Although this is based on some cities, guys, like even New York, have a few, more than one immigration courts in that city. So this is broken down by court. So for instance, we have New York Broadway Court, it's 1,500. And then there's New York Varick, 1,900 cases have been dismissed. Then you have, let's get it a little larger here. Chicago, 5,470 cases have been dismissed. Atlanta, Georgia, 2,800 cases have been dismissed. But then Houston, Texas, Houston, Texas court, 8,576. Let me know your thoughts below on any of the issues that I've shared in this one. Don't forget, again, to subscribe to our newsletter. Go to McBeanlaw.com/subscribe and get on our newsletter list so that you'll get our weekly news summaries each week. Thanks for being with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.